Welcome again, and we're gonna have another paranormal stories. And the theme for today is about school because schools are creepy. I went to a school before back home in my country, an elementary school where World War II apparently happened around that area. So, yeah, there's a lot of ghost stories in that school. Anyways, I wanted to read something similar to that, so we are going to our old friend Reddit. So this again is from Paranormal Encounters because I love this subreddit so much. And this is from the user TNCC7 and this was posted 2 years ago. Odd experience at the school. Me and my friend are very close to each other. We hang out very often. We usually walk around our village, talk about some stuff, or we just are on our phones. For some reason, we usually go pretty late from 6 p.m. until 11 p.m. Tonight, it was always like the usual. We were just walking at some random places around the park, church, around the school. It was around 10 p.m. when we were behind our former school for the third time of the day. Nothing out of the ordinary happened before. It was pretty dark outside. The only thing that was providing a bit of light was the school hall. Right in the middle of it were two white lights. We were walking the pathway like the usual, until I saw a tiny dot on the ceiling of one classroom. I stood there so that I can see what was up. My friend was right next to me. I was standing there for about 7 seconds and just staring at the ceiling, when my friend grabbed me by my jacket and said, "We need to go now." I was confused as we started running for no reason. I looked back at the classroom window. There was a small fraction of light that was visible in front of the classroom door, enough for me to see what I saw. There was a human-like figure just sitting down in front of the teacher's desk. It was looking at us as we were running away. I was terrified and started running even faster. We ran about 80 feet before we started walking again. I asked my friend what that thing was. It scared the hell out of us. Apparently, my friend told me that he was looking at it while I was distracted by the dot on the ceiling. He explained that the figure was looking in the direction of the door when he first saw it. After about 5 seconds, it turned its head towards us, and when he grabbed me by my jacket and we started running, he described the figure to be skinny, about 6 feet. There is really no reasonable explanation to this incident. The school staff are the last that stay. Their shifts finish about 3, sometimes 4 p.m., and no one else has the key. The strangest thing is that was our third lap around the school that night. We haven't seen anything until the last one. At the end of the day, I still have no idea what that was. Or was it just something else that's explainable? I guess we'll never know. I'd really like to see your thoughts and opinions in the comments. If you have similar experiences you'd like to share, feel free to do so. Oh my god, no! I was just imagining how that ball of light or like a figure of light is just sitting there at the teacher's desk. I often wonder if these things are actually real. I mean, if you see it on your own eyes. Honestly, I think what really got to me this is when the figure started looking at the two guys just running. Because for me, if I see something, I pretend I see nothing. I'm literally blind. But then if it's looking at me, it's like, how do you stay nonchalant about this? Anyways, that was freaky. And I hope I never encounter something like that. Oh my god. Okay, anyway, so paranormal encounters again, and the user is called same_entertainer2820. And the title is called I Played with a Ghost Girl, and this was posted 158 days ago. Now I know what you're thinking, the title is throwing you off, but I promise it's worth the read. By the way, I already tried to write this like twice and Reddit just froze. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. Also, I am not good with words, so just try to understand this the best way you can. I was about, I want to say, 11. I was at my dad's house and I was bored because there was nothing to do. But my dad suggested I go ride my bike around the neighborhood, so that's what I did. And as I was riding my bike, I ended up at the elementary school I used to go, so as many normal 11-year-old would do. I went to the back of the school and snuck in the playground area, so I laid my bike down and went in, And when I was on the swings, there was this little girl that asked me if she could play with me. I said, sure, why not? Because I thought she was just also a kid that snuck in because I remember it being weekend. But I don't know why my brain didn't see this as a red flag considering there was no adults around. But I was 11, so I guess I just ignored it. But anyway, this girl and I were playing on the swings when suddenly she stopped, got off, and started yelling at me to leave. I asked her why. She kept saying I had to leave, so I jumped the fence as fast as I could. This is where it got weird. When I turned around to wait for her to do the same, she was gone. Completely gone. Nowhere in sight, but I thought she could have ran back to the front or something. But she ran all the way to the fence with me, and it's a pretty long way to the fence to the front of the school. So I was creeped out, but I ran to get my bike and pedaled as fast as I could back home. I'm 18 now, and every time I drive by the school, I try to debunk it in my brain, and I can't. Also, I guess what brought this up is I started to get obsessed with Sam and Colby, and the fact they proved the paranormal, and it made me replay that moment in my head, and I just really needed to get this out there. One of the commenters asked what she looked like or what she was wearing, and the OP said, I remember she had a really bright blonde hair, and that's all about I can remember. See, this is what I'm saying with ghost girls, like little girls in general. I mean, I was a girl once, like a small girl, but I used to freak people out because I had long hair. I don't know, I had a really bad habit back in high school. I was like grade 9. And I had my long hair, and during computer classes I would just sneak up to my friends because it was dark, so everyone was just kind of on their computers. I would just sneak up to them and pretend I was gonna say something like, hey, did you finish this? And it would freak them out, so that always made me laugh. But ghost girls in general, I'm telling you, it's like there's nothing innocent about seeing a girl somewhere out of place. I know for sure I've had encounters with these things, but like I said, ignore it. I am blind, I see nothing. I'm telling you, if you see some entity, if you hear something, just ignore. Blind, you can't hear. Is all I'm suggesting. But I mean, I guess OP had played with a little girl. But you know what? I hope the ghost girl on the playground actually had some fun, because that's unexplainable. Like, what do you mean leave now? Is there something that's gonna catch you? But yeah, no. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's freaky. Okay, so the last story before a bonus story after this. The user is called the rat_rat3. I'm sorry, the username's kind of funny. Anyways, the title is called I Hated My School Because of This. Hey, I'm kind of new to Reddit, and this is my first post, so it might be kind of messy. So when I was in 4th grade, there were rumors that the school I went to was built over a graveyard. At that time, me and my friends' mothers worked at the school so we could roam the school freely after school. We decided that one day, after school, we'd go to all the haunted places in the school. The places being 2 classrooms and the girls' bathroom in the cafeteria, and the playground. We didn't tell our mothers about it. We just kind of went with it. First, we went to the bathroom in the cafeteria. So me being the only girl, I had to go in. Girls had reported hearing crying and seeing bloody handprints on the sink. As soon as I walked in, I heard the crying. It freaked me out, of course. Every time I checked the stall, I heard crying. Nothing was there. Eventually, I saw a bloody handprint, and it freaked me out and ran out of the bathroom. My one friend, who I'll call S, asked me what I saw, and I told them everything. They were equally freaked out. We really couldn't go into the 2 classrooms since the teacher in them wouldn't let us. So we went to the playground, and behold, a swing was swinging by itself. We freaked out and ran back. So much for being brave. We told our moms everything about it, and they panicked. That's all for my story. I know it's kind of a short post, but this is my first post. Thanks for reading. That sounds terrifying. Oh my god. I'm not sure if I want to believe this story, but I mean, if it's true, that's freaky as hell, and I am sorry to the person who experienced this. I would never want to experience something like that. I've because I've had similar experiences with hearing crying for sure. Like I cry a lot, so if I hear something crying that just out of the distance, I ignore it. I'm telling you, be blind and be like deaf to all these things. Just do not acknowledge it. It's like it's like the rule that I'm always enforcing to other people and towards me because like the moment you give attention to it, it's gonna notice you. It could attach itself to you. So yeah. Okay, so we have a long one here, kinda. And it's paranormal encounters again. And the user is called Concerned Citizen 6004. And this was posted 6 years ago. Okay, so the title is called Paranormal Activity in Lake Forest. I am a student at Lake Forest College, which is a small liberal arts school located in the suburbs of North Chicago in a town called Lake Forest. From the first year I attended this school, I became almost immediately aware of the so-called hauntings that takes place on campus and throughout the area. But I am not here to share the rumors of a little girl disrupting the residents of the dormitory halls called Blackstone or Harlan, or the rumor that the dormitory known as Lois was once a hospital. Nor am I here to describe the many paranormal incidents that circulate the mansion known as the Schweppes Mansion, which is located in East Lake Forest. I want to describe an encounter I had while I was at Lake Forest Beach, which is about 15 minutes or so walk from the north side of the campus. Lake Forest Beach provides a beautiful place to enjoy Lake Michigan. My intention with sharing my story isn't to scare anyone. I simply want to understand what happened and if there is anyone else who has experienced a similar encounter. When the weather is warm enough, my friends and I always go to the beach to swim in Lake Michigan or have a picnic on the rocks. Even when the lake is frozen, we'll grab a hot coffee and explore the frozen ice structures and blanketed white beaches. But despite the season, my friends and I will occasionally visit the beach at night. A few weeks ago, I felt overcome with an urge to get out of the car and explore the shores of Lake Michigan, which was especially unusual since I was alone. I slowly opened the car door and stepped out into the cool air. I began walking to the left, which is the more wooded side of the beach. This was also unusual since it was more common to follow the path towards the playground and towards the rocks. I remember that I was curious why I didn't explore this part of the beach more often. I kept walking along the shore until I found a spot to sit down. I closed my eyes to take in the soothing sounds of waves washing careful back and forth from the shore. That's where I began to hear it. A soft whistling that was being carried by the wind. I didn't think much of it until I realized that there was a rhythm to it. It was a song. That's when I turned around to try and see where the sound was coming from and who was making it. I began to call out for them to step forward and show themselves, but as soon as I said anything, the sound came to an abrupt stop. Once it stopped, everything around me went silent, and I felt an unfamiliar chill run through my body. So that was my cue to leave, and to leave as fast as my feet could carry me. I haven't been back to the beach since, although I have no concrete proof that my experience was something paranormal. I can't disregard the fact that the parking lot was completely empty when I arrived at the beach and when I returned. Also, the wooded area that was behind me when I sat on the beach was extremely dense with foliage, so it would be impossible for me not to hear movement before and after the whistling stopped. I genuinely believe that I was completely alone. The whistling could have been from the wind, but there was a definitive rhythm. So I decided to do some research on the area on the Lake Michigan. As I mentioned earlier, there are countless rumors of different areas of Lake Forest being supposedly haunted, along with countless tales of hauntings that has to do with Lake Michigan and surrounding areas. I can't help but have a feeling that my experience may be tied to one of those stories. Has anyone else experienced something similar in the Lake Forest? Some of the comments were like, they experienced something similar, so there's probably something wrong with Lake Forest Beach. And one commenter said, "It's weird you mentioned this. I have heard rumor stories from different students at Lake Forest with similar encounters. One even specified seeing a dark figure disappearing at the top of the stairs into the darkness. While I haven't had an experience at the beach myself, I can say that I have had one at the Shriepies mansion down the street. I never saw an actual figure in the window, but I have seen a light flicker as we pulled up to the house almost to let us know that we were being watched. I don't know how I had the courage to get out of the car and hop the fence to get into the backyard, but nothing happened after the flickering of the light. If you want to feel the history of this house, walk around the backyard at night." Wow, I didn't know that actually Lake Michigan or like Lake Forest is creepy like that. Probably I will explore this in the future. I don't know though, I'm a chicken for sure, but I would probably need a group of friends. I'll probably do this YouTuber style. I'll just strap some cameras on me. I'll have the like the Estes method. I'll have all those like cool gadget equipments. But yeah, no, I don't know. I love to enjoy or read things like this, but not actually partake. But no, I didn't know Lake Michigan and Lake Forest was actually haunted like that. So, if you enjoyed my content, if you enjoyed my horror stories, please consider subscribing. And if you have any stories, do send them my way so I can read them for you. Because I actually love doing this. So, if you have something, just, I'll be here. And until then, I'll see ya.